I think it's going to be the theme for our other movie review today. Unless you have any, do you have any more final thoughts on Nobody?
No, I don't have anything else to say on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, all I can say about our next review, if for those at home, grab a brew. Don't cost nothing.
We watched the classic National Lampoon's Animal House.
Yes. One of my favorite comedies of all time. And it's I think it's required viewing for anybody who is attending college or had attended college. um, but yeah, so this movie is came out in I believe it came out in '76, and it's about students attending was specifically one fraternity house at Faber College, where knowledge is good.
Yes, that was kind of amusing, like that opening gag.
Yeah, and so we've got the well, okay, so it starts off. We meet two freshmen who are pledging, going through Pledge Week, or Rush, and it's Larry Kroger, who is played by Tom Hulse, better known as or best known for playing Mozart and Amadeus. And then you have Kent Dorfman, who's what was? Do you remember the name of his character from Babylon 5?
Um, let's find out. Yeah, played
Uh,
by Stephen First,
First, yeah,
the late Stephen First, who I hadn't realized that I've seen so much stuff with him in it.
yeah,
Like he was a voice actor in Freakazoid. He was a voice actor in Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. He was a character in Babylon 5.
yeah,
I went through his IMDb and I was like, wow, okay.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
just all over the place. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
He was Veer Koto, a second. He was kind of the second banana to one of the main alien characters,
Okay.
which is good casting for him.
Yeah.
Uh, Amusingly, he's fat in this movie. He suddenly slimmed down between like seasons either 2 and 3 or 3 and 4 of Babylon 5 because I think he hit diabetes and had to lose a bunch of weight.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. Um, yeah.
Well, as this movie says, drunk, fat, and stupid is no way to go through life.
uh, but yeah. So at first they go to the Omega House, which is where this is the preppy fraternity,
Hmm.
and immediately, although it's funny, funny when they walk through the door. So Larry walks through the door. He's like, "Hi, I'm Larry," and then one of the guys, Niedermeyer, he closes the door on, and he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with him.
No. Yeah, and so but they immediately get put in the corner with all the rejects that they don't want to be associated with. So then Larry and Kent are like, okay, well, let's go over to the Delta House, and because Kent's brother was a was a
He was a
member of the
Delta.
fraternity. He was a Delta, yeah. So he's a legacy. So by rule, you kind of have to let them in. Um, and so then they walk up, and that's when they meet John Bluto Blutarski, played by Belushi, who's taking a whiz out on the front lawn, and like, "Hey, is the Delta House? Sure!" And he gives him a little spray. um, yeah, and so yeah, then we meet the other members of the Delta House. We got uh, Otter, who's played by Tim Matheson. He's the ladies' man, and then you got his friend Boone, whose girlfriend is Karen Allen in the movie, and this was when Karen Allen was still cute.
Yep. Although looking at the picture for on IMDb, she actually no. How old is that picture? Okay, they're showing a picture of her from probably like 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, she's aged gracefully.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She looked okay in the last Indiana Jones movie, but uh,
Oh, that's right. I forgot that she was
they,
Marion. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So then they pledge the fraternity, and then that's when the hijinks ensue. So they're basically, this movie is it's kind of anthological if you think about it, because it's basically
Right.
just like one thing after that happens after another.
Right.
Um,
It's basically the Deltas being a terror to the rest of the campus, and the dean trying to shut them down.
right. Yeah, and he works with the Omegas to get them shut down. And Dean Wormer tells the lead prep guy, I can't remember what his Tom wasn't. No, it wasn't Tom. I can't remember his name. Um, but he said, "Oh, put Niedermeyer on it. He's a sneaky little shit, just like you." Um,
Was it Greg?
Greg, that's right. Yes, thank you. Um, yeah. So then they basically just a series of yeah. So one of the things they do is they're they get their okay, so they get their one of the things, they get their all their pledge names. And uh so they give Larry's name is Pinto. And he goes, well, why Pinto? "Well, why not?"
Yeah,
And then and Kent becomes Flounder. um
an appropriate name since he flounders through the movie.
yes. Yeah, and there's even a scene there where they're going through all the slides of all the photos, and they're like, okay, Larry Kroger. Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, he's all right. And then they go to Kent, Kent Dorfman, and Belushi's like, ah!
Right. Yeah. Then people start booing and throwing things at the projector.
Yeah, because even the Deltas don't want him.
Yep. Like, he's legacy. We gotta let him in. Ah.
Uh, Ninja mentions he's only seen one scene from the movie, which yeah, when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor.
Yep. So yeah, like you said, it's kind of anthology style, where it's a almost like a series of comedy sketches that are loosely tied together.
Yeah, and interesting little factoid. So Harold Ramis was one of the writers on the movie
Hmm.
with two other guys, and basically how they wrote the movie was they just sat in a room and they swapped college stories. It's like,
Okay, so they had a much more interesting college experience than I did then.
yeah, me too. Uh, but they were just telling, like, well, a lot of it was like it's either stuff that happened to them, or something that happened to someone they knew, or like
Mhm.
college urban legends, the kind of thing.
Right.
Like, oh, like putting a horse in the dean's office.
Yeah, and then the horse dies of a heart attack.
Yeah, I did like that Belushi. Holy shit! But yeah, like a lot of it's just them going, doing all this stuff, and they're like, just making the school administration mad. And like, so like, oh,
They
you
get
know
they get put on the famous double secret probation.
yeah, double secret. We're on double secret probation, wherever that is. And so then they throw a toga. Yeah, one of the things they do is they throw a toga party. And uh, and that's when things really get bad, because that's when Otter ends up sleeping with the dean's wife.
Yeah, that doesn't go over well.
Go over well. And then yeah, and Larry, Pindo, he he drags the mayor's daughter out to the which like,
Oh, yeah,
uh,
then they deliver the dean's wife back to his house in a wheelbarrow, as I recall. No, it was a wheelbarrow or a shopping
no,
cart.
no, that was the mayor's daughter. It was in
Oh,
a
okay.
shopping cart. Um, well, I also forgot too. One guy that has a very small role in the movie, Donald Sutherland. He plays one. He's the English professor, the cool English professor who lets him
Gets high with him and sleeps with the students.
yeah, gets high with him. Yeah, Can I buy some pot from you?
Man, that actress really just seems to have a thing for college professors between this and Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't think of that. Huh. Uh, yeah. So after the toga party, they one of my favorite scenes is the hearing where they're sitting in this basically trying to keep themselves to keep from getting kicked out of school. And Hodder gets up and he says, "Sorry, I got this." He said, "I'm pre-law. I thought you were pre-med. What's the difference?" And he goes up and gives this speech, and at the end he says, "I won't sit down here and listen to you badmouth the United States of America."
Right. It's like all of the Deltas are kind of awful people. Like the character you were describing a moment ago, Otter,
Yeah.
is a very manipulative guy.
Hmm.
Uh, he had this weird charisma to him, which made sense of why he could keep getting away with it.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, so they decide that, well, we've lost our haul. They've confiscated all of our stuff, including the stuff we didn't even steal.
Yeah.
And we're going to do this, and we're going to destroy the annual float parade.
The homecoming parade. Yeah.
And so they do.
Yeah.
And they quickly throw together a float with a damaged car that
The D-Day.
Flounders
Yeah,
Flounders
it was
had
Flanders' brother. Yeah, and then
Flounders' brother had lent him.
yeah,
They damaged the car and like, well, we can turn this into a float overnight, and they managed to. And again, hijinks ensue, and then the movie ends with yeah, okay, it's kind of does the American Graffiti thing where you have like this character wanted to do this character wanted to do this.
yeah,
Bluto ended up being a U.S. senator, which actually seems appropriate.
yeah. It does. Well, and Otter was a gynecologist in Beverly Hills.
Yes, also fitting.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, he had Niedermeyer who got killed by his own men in Vietnam.
Right, in 1963.
Yeah.
Which
Um,
it kind of jostled me when I realized that, oh, this movie is taking place at some point that it's not taking place when the movie was actually made.
yeah. Interesting enough, it's in 1962, which is the same year
Okay,
American Graffiti takes place in.
so you're saying that they're part of a shared cinematic universe?
Mm. They're both made by Universal.
Well, might as well, right?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Right. So they're both kind of showing off the part of the '60s that still felt like the '50s.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, so, so I'll say that watching this, I tried to watch it once in college. I had rented it, watched it for about 20 minutes, and then I could never remember if I was just bored with it or if I'd gotten busy.
Mm,
This was back in the days when you had to worry about Hollywood Video or whatnot charging you late fees. So I made a
yeah.
point of taking it back as soon as I could.
Yeah.
Um, but so watching it this time around, I think I concluded that, and this is okay. So I think I've been on the record. I have some, I have some off-brand takes occasionally. Like I love goofy humor. Simpsons is my jam. Just that type of
Mhm,
thing. Like this movie just does not vibe with me for whatever reason.
mm. Yeah.
Uh, Now I will say there were individual scenes I liked. Like I liked when Otter and his crew they needed dates for the night. So his plan is he goes to a different college where uh, a girl was killed in a mysterious kiln fire and pretends to be her unknowing fiance
Yeah.
to, to get some pity dates, a little bit of pity play
Yeah.
from her roommate.
Yeah. She
Uh,
was gonna make a pot for me.
right, and guy's like, "Oh, I shouldn't be alone tonight. Okay, I'll stay with you. Great. Can you get 3 more dates for my friends?"
Yeah. Yeah, and of course then they end up at a bar that they were not welcome in.
Yes. If it wasn't officially segregated, it was basically segregated.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah. We'll keep it YouTube friendly. We won't say
yeah.
what
Uh,
happens there. But
and there were a couple of edgy moments where that just kind of struck me as like one of them accidentally beds a very underage girl.
yes, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
But she seems very happy about this, and when they run into each other again later, like, Dad, that's the guy who me.
Yeah, yes. We're
No,
getting married.
um, I will. So I think that if I was going to break down probably like why this movie doesn't work for me and me specifically, background as a teacher. So this movie offends my sensibilities and kind of gives me Vietnam flashbacks. Um, I just I am just not a John Belushi fan, and I don't get why people are at this point because I've given him a number of tries on this show, and I liked Blues Brothers significantly more than this one. Just I think part of it is that this movie is so influential that every single joke and scene in it I have seen quoted elsewhere, and weirdly enough, it was quoted elsewhere with more vigor than it was delivered originally. A lot of the time,
Promise it. Get it.
like the bombing, like when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor thing,
Oh
it's
yeah.
one of those, it's one of those things like where it came and went very quickly. And I was like, wait, what? That's one that stuck with people for 50 years. What?
Yeah, yeah. Germans? Forget it. He's rolling.
Yeah. Um, See, and like, and this was basically like it was like a scavenger hunt of, oh, that's what that's a reference to. Oh, that's what that's a reference to, from
Uh,
just decades of movies and TV shows and stuff riffing on this movie.
yeah, yeah.
I also could definitely see where I felt like a lot of the timing and delivery had a very Simpsons esque style to it
Hmm.
in places.
Yeah, definitely. Wouldn't surprise me if, yeah, there was probably a lot of influences there. Yeah.
Yeah, we know that they had the episode where Homer went back to college, and that was just like that was him treating Animal House as if it was a documentary.
Yeah.
Well, a mix of Animal House and Revenge of the Nerds as if it was a documentary.
Yeah.
Um, so like I so there are occasionally things where I stand against the majority and I say, "No, sir, you're wrong. I'm going to plant my feet at the roots of the tree of liberty," or whatever Captain America said in that Civil War comic that everyone likes to quote.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, which now a cringe line thanks to the Avengers video game and giving it to Kamala Khan, but that's
Ugh,
neither here nor there. Uh,
yeah.
there are times like, you know what? I'm not going to spoil anybody else's fun. I would say this is definitely an important movie, and if you're into comedy at all, it's worth a watch. And statistically, you will enjoy it more than I did. Almost certainly, just based on the sheer amount of impact that this has had. I
Yeah.
I guess what I've just started to conclude is that there's a strain of 70s and 80s comedies that just don't gel with me, and I
Mm,
don't know entirely why that is. Because I can remember being kind of unimpressed by Caddyshack, um,
yeah.
which that's also what's his name who wrote that one, right?
Harold Ramis. Yeah.
Yeah,
He directed it too, I think. Yeah.
yeah. So maybe I'm just not a Harold Ramis fan. I don't know.
Well, you liked the Ghostbusters movies, didn't you?
I thought the first Ghostbusters movie was all right. It wasn't my favorite.
Mm.
So maybe that's it. Maybe I just don't vibe with Ramus. That could be the secret sauce.
That may be. Yeah. His style of humor is just not your thing. Yeah.
Yep. Which again, I'm not gonna stand here and go this movie is awful. It's just not specifically for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but but I'm not. You know, I so you know what. Pillory me in the comments as much as you like. I, I'm being humble about it.
Yeah, well, no, I understand. Yeah, I mean, it is certainly a you know it definitely has humor that I can see why some people wouldn't like it. I just I forgot to mention one other my favorite scenes when they're taking all the stuff out of the house, and one of the guys has a box full of liquor bottles, and he trips, and the bottles go crashing on the ground, and Belushi's just like, but yeah, I this is one of those movies that I watched with my family and we enjoyed it, and
Mhm.
it's just but yeah, I completely understand. It's why it wouldn't be your cup of tea. It's just it's obviously it's yeah, it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep. It wasn't an awful time.
yeah,
Yeah. But what would make this a better time for everybody? If you remember to like, smash that subscribe button, do
and
unspeakable things with the notification button.
yes, all that good stuff. Yeah, and yeah, Ninja thing kind of seems to be with you on this, DB. A lot of his comedies weren't his taste either, but yeah,
Yep. Yeah. Comedy is one of those interesting things where like is a drama told well will generally work and like be kind of universal. Comedy is like uh, comedy is very like there are objective rules to comedy, but the actual experience of comedy is very subjective.
and yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the, everybody is eventually going to be the outlier on something.
Yeah, well, I'll give one with me. I know a lot of people really love Seinfeld. I never got it.
I never really tried watching Seinfeld. I'll say that I've enjoyed clips I've seen out of context, but that I'm sure that's basically getting the the best moments that people bother to upload to YouTube illegally.
Right. Yeah. Well, the issue I had was that when you said you find the characters in this movie very likable, I didn't find any of the characters in Seinfeld likable because they're just
Oh,
jerks.
oh yeah, I mean there's a reason that Seinfeld ends with all the characters going to prison and having all the things that they've done over the course of the series thrown in their faces.
Yeah. Oh man.